While Longmire is a show that is definitely a fan favorite, it got off to a bit of a rocky start. From uncontrolled wildfires in the area where the show was filming to being temporarily canceled after 3 seasons because the average age of the viewers was deemed to be too old, Longmire just couldn't catch a break. With all the uncertainty in the show, it looks like the team had a little bit of trouble keeping things straight. From plot holes to wardrobe department fails to moments that just plain don't make sense, we're bringing you all of the biggest mistakes in Longmire. Keep watching to find out more. First, things between Walt and Donna are just heating up when Walt's gun falls and goes off. The situation from season 5 of Longmire enraged fans of the show. Walt is a veteran police officer, so it seems pretty unlikely that he would mishandle a firearm like that, especially in his own home. Police officers, and anyone who takes a gun safety course, are typically trained not to leave their guns loaded with the safety off, and most modern guns will not just fire off on their own if you drop them. We were almost ready to chalk this one up to creative license by the writers. However, eagle-eyed fans caught another detail that makes this moment even more unusual. The rifle that Walt dropped is a model called a Winchester 94. The Winchester 94 currently comes with a safety feature, and prior versions of the rifle featured an exposed rebounding hammer. This means that when the hammer is down, it is impossible for the rifle to go off unless the trigger is actually pulled, and the hammer doesn't rest on the firing pin, so it would be nearly impossible for the gun to fire when Walt drops it. What caused the writers to put that into the scene? We'll never know, and that's only the first of many things that just don't add up in Longmire. Another moment where we see Walt having some mysterious trouble with his gun is in Season 2's first episode, titled Unquiet Mind. Walt is patrolling a house when he hears a gunshot. He reloads his own gun to prepare and cocks it back before approaching the entrance. Everything seems normal at first, but Walt actually hadn't fired his gun. So when he reloads and cocks it back, that means he had actually thrown out a live round of ammo. This is actually something that commonly occurs in film and TV shows that feature a lot of action sequences, such as police dramas and other shows that deal with fake guns. Even viewers who are not that familiar with firearms themselves still tend to be able to tell when something seems fake. This is why shows and films often hire someone whose job it is to teach the actors how to handle the firearms in a realistic and safe way, something it looks like Longmire may have skipped out on. Next up, an obvious spelling mistake that drives fans crazy throughout all of Season 3. In Season 3, Henry Standing Bear ends up in a jail, while Longmire tries to help him with his case and makes frequent visits to keep him company and boost morale. But fans spotted an error that is so obvious, it seems like it must have been left in on purpose. The badge the jail gives Longmire to wear when visiting Henry states in plain capital letters Visitor rather than Visitor. With the badge being so visible, someone had to have caught this mistake before the show aired. At least they kept things consistent throughout the rest of that season. Every time someone visits Henry, they are wearing the same Visitor badge. And the gun laws in the show are like nothing you've ever seen in real life. For a Western-inspired show, it seems unlikely that there would be such a heavy focus on gun laws, but that's just what fans are noticing as they make their way through the first 5 seasons of Longmire. While at first you may think that the constant references to gun laws are a modern twist meant to reflect the current state of things, so the viewers of the show won't be turned off by a controversial subject, fans of the show actually have said that this makes the show seem unrealistic, as although Absaroka County is fictional, the show is meant to be set in Wyoming, and current-day Wyoming has the most relaxed gun laws you can imagine, practically non-existent. It's still the Wild West in real-life Wyoming, but on the show, we see a version in which the characters are frequently tracking down criminals by gun registration. In real-life Wyoming, you actually don't even need to register a firearm at all, and in addition, neither open carry nor concealed carry carry requires a permit, and when you buy a gun from a private seller, there's no background check necessary. This really throws off multiple moments in the show, so that's likely why writers let it slide, so that they have something to build the story on. Next up in our list is a never-ending ice cream cone. In an episode titled Chrysalis during Season 5, Vic makes a roadside stop to interrogate a man who appears to just be relaxing in his wheelchair. He has a furry companion named Tito and an ice cream cone in hand. The whole time Vic is questioning him, his dog is sneaking little licks of ice cream, but the ice cream never melts and never changes shape because it's simply a prop. But the question is, why would the prop department use this obviously fake ice cream in a scene when it's such a big focal point? Fans even went so far as to say the ice cream was a distraction in the scene. The writers must have really emphasized it, so it seems strange that they would overlook the authenticity of the prop in that scene. Another mystery for the books. Then another Wyoming-specific mistake that has fans going crazy. It seems that many viewers of the show are familiar with the law of the land out west. When Walt has a conversation with Tucker Baggett, fans have pointed out that Walt could have recorded the conversation and saved himself a lot of trouble. Wyoming is what is known as a one-party consent state regarding the recording of conversations. It would have been well within his rights to record the conversation and use it as evidence. Next up, the lawsuit subplot that has a mayor claiming jurisdiction over a sheriff. As a sheriff is a type of elected official, they receive certain rights and immunities that cannot be breached unless they are convicted of a felony. This is something the show seems to miss out on, as Walt faces a number of obstacles, from being served with a lawsuit after he was given qualified immunity by the FBI to facing off against the mayor. A mayor wouldn't have any power over a sheriff in real life, and many law students and lawyers who are watching the show have voiced their annoyance at the discrepancies. One fan said not only do they think the Longmire writers have never set foot in a courtroom, but they must have also never seen a legal drama at all. Then Walt's complete irrational paranoia toward Jacob. Throughout the show, Walt blames so many things on Jacob that we were almost sure by the end Jacob would turn out to be just as bad as Walt led us to believe. Otherwise, Walt's paranoia toward Jacob doesn't make any sense. But that never happened. Jacob is actually a fan favorite on the show, in large part because the hatred from Walt seems so excessive when he's supposed to be a hero. Instead, he just comes off as prejudiced. And another police department mistake. During the entire show, Walt never has more than 4 sworn officers in his entire department. At times, he has had up to 3 deputies, and in other seasons, he has only 2. But even in a small, rural town, a police department would require more staffing than 4 people. The show goes even further with this mistake, having a deputy on duty go along with Walt on the case of the week. This means that the rest of the county has no coverage at all, something that simply wouldn't be allowed to happen in any real police department. Finally, a dead body who is still blinking. Early on in episode 3 of season 3, titled Miss Cheyenne, we see a dead body in the barn. Dead bodies in TV are typically played by eager acting extras who enjoy their time in the spotlight. If the deceased person isn't a character on the show who is killed in front of us, often the actor's only job is to lay there and not move. But in the Miss Cheyenne episode, the supposedly dead body is obviously fluttering his eyes, as if he just couldn't bear to be completely still. Maybe the actor wanted to add a little extra drama to his scene, or maybe he had something in his eye. But the question that remains is why the show's creators didn't edit this out. After all, there's not a lot that's realistic about a dead body that's still moving. So there you have it. Those are some of the most frustrating Longmire plot holes and other moments that fans just don't understand. What was the moment in Longmire this season that drove you crazy? And who do you think Walt was calling at the end of the show? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.